Hey there guys, what we wanted to talk about today was common financial mistakes that people make, because at the moment, it's early in the year, so a lot of people are thinking about their goals, objectives, their resolutions, and often the best way to actually set yourself up for success and achieve those is to avoid some of the pitfalls, some of the mistakes you've made in the past, and perhaps some of the mistakes that other people have done. So hopefully by sharing these with you, it'll fast track your success to your financial goals. And Zach, do you want to kick us off with number one?
Yeah, so number one is not having a clear plan and not having clear goals in place. So without sitting down and mapping out what your goals for the future are, it's hard to put a plan in place to achieve those goals. And on the flip side too, it's hard to stick to a plan without knowing what the goals are and why you're doing that plan in the first place.
Yeah, and you need to make it vivid, something exciting, something that you're prepared to make some sacrifices and trade-offs for, and something you can actually know whether or not you're on track or not. And you should be checking this thing, I think, on a quarterly basis at a minimum, but ideally maybe on a monthly check-in. But number two, I think this one, lifestyle creep. This is where our expenses keep rising in line with our income, and sometimes even quicker than our income. It's all about keeping up with the Joneses or trying to impress people and just spending money on things that don't matter. And these things often sort of evaporate your cash flow. So it means that even though you are being more successful, you're earning more, you're not feeling any wealthier because you're actually got potentially less money as a proportion of what you're spending.
Yeah.
Going towards things that actually matter, like your future retirement plans or your lifestyle, for things that you're passionate about and bring you joy.
Yeah, and the number one rule of financial success is pretty much spending less than what you earn. So you should be able to hopefully see whenever you get a growth in income and things like that you're going, all right, this is a percentage that I didn't have before, and I can start to hopefully put a bit more away for my future self, as you mentioned.
And the expert level of this is keep your expenses the same and just keep saving every pay rise you get. That's not achievable and realistic for a lot of us. So if you can apply a percentage formula and make sure that you're really trying to target 30% at a minimum, or hopefully 40% going towards your future self. So that's, investing in shares, property, growth assets that are actually going to provide for you a passive income in the future.
Definitely. Number three is not having a plan B in place. So if you think about the sort of things that can potentially happen to people on a day-to-day basis, where it's injury, illness, natural disasters.
Loss of job as well.
Loss of
economic
job.
Conditions change. Financial advisors are getting replaced with robots.
Yep.
Sorry to tell you.
But definitely it's important to have a plan B in place if things were to go wrong, so that you're not ruined financially.
And what does that look like? What's a plan B?
Yeah, so it could be, depending on what the scenario might be, it might be having an appropriate cash buffer in place to make sure that you've got enough to cover, 6 months worth of expenses. It might be having personal insurances in place so that if something was to happen where you're unable to work, you've got money still coming in. Or it might be on the really extreme side, having an appropriate estate plan in place. If something was to happen to you where you might pass away, and making sure those that are left behind are looked after. So it could be a myriad of factors.
Yeah, and that's good because having all those things in place means it protects, it protects your plan. So it keeps things on track, even though it might not be the perfect plan, but it's making sure it doesn't sort of all fall apart. So, and make sure the ATO gets only their fair share of it as well.
Exactly.
So in terms of next up, number 4, delaying, deferring, waiting for a perfect time. This one, there's a lot of psychology that goes in this. We're not going to unpack that today. That's a whole nother course. I might actually take that up, I think. So, but this one's all about people keep waiting for a perfect time. And the perfect time really doesn't exist. So I think the main lesson that I've learned in terms of the most financially successful people that I've worked with and sort of read their stories and sort of tried to sort of embrace their philosophies is just get started. The perfect time to start was actually yesterday. The next best time is today. So I think even if you don't start with the full velocity of your plan, just get something in place and actually take some proactive steps towards those long-term plans, and just be comfortable that the start of the plan is boring. It's slow. Know that. The main thing is just get going, because that snowball effect of that compounding, compound interest works, but also the compounding effect of just setting goals and actually, putting things in motion, it works.
Definitely. And the fifth and final one is not seeking advice. So this might be from brokers, lawyers, accountants, financial advisors, or it could be from those financially successful people that you know. But it's important to have a chat to those people and see what you can potentially learn from them, and also learn from their mistakes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a shortcut way to do it, because the most expensive way to learn things is actually doing it yourself, because it's slow, it's time consuming, and you've got to wear the cost of it. Speak to people. Someone's been through what you're about to go through, most likely. Yeah, there's undiscovered places of the world, but I think for most of our listeners, that's probably not happening. So make sure you are engaging people, because you can fast track your success that way. So I think it's really good. And engage professionals and see it as an investment. Too often people see engaging professionals and spending some money on advice as a cost. It's actually an investment, because it's probably going to enhance your returns and improve your overall financial well-being. So get that mindset around you, and then I think you'll be happier.
Definitely.
Well, we might leave it there. That's 5. If there's anything we've missed or something you'd like us to cover in future topics, then please let us know. But otherwise, we'll see you next time.
Cheers.